All right, so continue where you left off in yesterday's notes. For the warm-up, 5x times 2x, what do you think that is? Well, 5 times 2 is 10, and then x times x. Add up the x's. How many do you got? 2. We learned that from our laws of exponents, remember. Next, what is the perimeter of the shape below? Perimeter, we talked about that yesterday. Just add up the sides. So let's start with my x's. I have 3x, got that. I have x, got that. I have another x, and then I have a minus 6x, and then lastly I have another 3x. All right, so I got 3 plus 1x, that gives me 4x. 4x plus 1x, that gives me 5x. 5x minus 6x, that gives me negative 1x. And then negative 1x plus 3x gives me 2x. But I'm not done, I still need to do the constants. So I got 9 plus 1 plus 5 and minus 11. So start with 9 plus 1, that gives you 10. Add 5, that gives you 15. Subtract 11, that gives you 4. So your final answer is 2x plus 4. All right, so some more review from yesterday. Pause the video, see if you can do this on your own. All right, so I see parentheses. I see a negative outside it, which tells me everything in the parentheses needs to flip the signs. I have 2g squared plus 5g plus 4g squared minus 3g minus 1. Combine like terms. 2 plus 4 is 6g squared. 5g minus 3g, that gives me 2g. And lastly, minus 1. And there's your answer. All right, if you are watching this online, go to this website so that way you can pull up algebra tiles, just like what you did yesterday. So with algebra tiles and multiplying, you're going to need to make sure you're drawing these lines because these lines tell us you're multiplying what's in the first parentheses times the second parentheses. So for instance here, in order to show 2 times x plus 1, I'm going to pull 2, 1 tiles, and I'm going to pull x plus 1. Now, the way this works is you're looking for shapes that are going to fill in this box here. That's your goal, is to get shapes that fill in this box. In other words, you're multiplying one shape by the other. So an x times a 1, that's going to give you a 1x. 1 times 1, that's going to give you a 1. X times 1, that's going to give you an x. 1 times 1, that's going to give you a 1. Notice that all the ones in this column here are all the same width as this one. And they are all the same width as this one. The greens are the same width here as my 1s. They're the same length as my x's up. So you use the sides to help you decide what goes and gets filled in. So then your final answer for 2 times x plus 1 is going to be 2x plus 2. And we knew that because we know how to distribute, but this is just to help introduce the tiles when you're multiplying. All right, try it again. This time you have 2x, and this time it is x minus 3. So again, I would draw myself a box and see what needs to get filled in. Well, x squared is the same width and same length as the ones above and to the side. Now, negative times a positive is a negative, so I'm going to pull this negative x tile here, here, and here. At the bottom, I'm going to have another x squared, and I'm going to pull another x, x, and x. And that fills in my box. So my final answer is going to be 2x squared minus 6x. And again, if we had done this on our own using distribution, we would see that same answer. However, when we get to problems like this, we haven't done things like this before where we have x plus 1 times x minus 2. This is where using the tiles can help us to learn how to do this without the tiles. So I have x plus 1, and I'm going to put that over here to the left. And then I have x minus 2 on top. Draw our box and start filling things in. So x squared is the same length and width as x times x. Negative x is the same as negative 1 times positive x. And then I'll need a second one there. At the bottom, I'll need an x, positive x. At the bottom, I'll need a negative 1 and a negative 1. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see what we got. We got an x squared. Over here, we got a negative 2x, and over here we have a positive 1x. Remember what we were talking about yesterday, that if we have a positive and a negative right here and right here, they cancel each other out. So now all I'm left over with is a negative 1x, and then minus 2. And that's what we get when we multiply x plus 1 times x minus 2. All right, why don't you pause the video and try this one? All right, I'm going to start pulling my tiles. I would have 2x on the left. I would have plus 1 on the right, on the bottom still, and then x minus 2 on top. Make my box. Hopefully you guys can make straighter lines than what I can. So to fill in my box, I'm going to start finding what tiles go where. X times x is x squared. Negative 1 times x is negative 1. And then I still got another negative 1 there. Next row, I have another x squared and another negative and negative. Let's see, at the bottom here, I have a positive x times a positive 1. That gives me positive x. And then I'm going to have 2 negative constants here at the bottom. So 2x squared. Look at my x's. Let's see, do we have any 0 pairs? I have a positive x. I have a negative x. That's a 0 pair. So what's left over? Negative 3x. And then lastly, I have negative 2. And there's our answer. All right, let's try one more. So negative x plus 1, 2, 3, and then positive x plus 1. Again, make your box and then fill it all in. Positive x times negative x, that's going to give me a negative x squared. Positive x times negative x is going to give me a negative x. Positive x times positive 1s are going to give me a positive x. Oop. There we go. Here, and then does not want to work, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it in. And then positive times positive gives me a whole bunch of positive 1s. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. I have a negative x squared. Let's see, I have a 0 pair here because I got a positive x here and a negative x. Those cancel, leaving me with positive 2x. And then I have 3 positive constants, so that gives me positive 3. And that's my answer. All right, guys, so no homework tonight. We will go ahead and work on this some more tomorrow with tiles that's at the start and moving away from tiles for the rest of the notes.